published 1730 Est, the 27th of November 2017, updated 1958 Est, the 27th of November 2017. From afar it must look like the same old England team out in Australia. That's 6 defeats in a row there now. However, there were chances missed in the defeat at the Gabba, and the players have to go to Adelaide with that in their minds. If they had been on the end of an absolute hiding from start to finish, then things would be different. They were not. Equally, they can't say they weren't warned about making certain mistakes and not doing certain things that would lead to them not only losing the test match but potentially other test matches out there. The onus is on Joe Root to make a big 100 in the second test of the Ashes this week. England need to inject more speed into the pace attack with Mark Wood waiting in reserve. Fundamentally, there are two issues. The bowling attack is a bit one-dimensional for Australian conditions, and for too long now the batsmen have not gone on to make big runs. I said before the match that while 300 would win tests against West Indies and South Africa in home conditions, you'll lose more games than not in Australia with that kind of total. England coach Trevor Bayliss himself said pretty 50s and 60s are of absolutely no use. I also questioned where England would go after Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad with a new ball. They had a very one-dimensional, one-paced attack. To prove the points, Australia captain Steve Smith scored an unbeaten 141 and it won them the game. And his bowlers kept up their intensity to destroy England's batting while Joe Root's backup bowlers were lacking in it. The onus is now on Root, a member of the Fab Four along with Virat Kohli, Smith and Kane Williamson, to respond as a batsman because he's as guilty as anyone of not converting. He's just seen Kohli get another double 100. He's just seen his opposite number score a match-winning unbeaten Ashes 100. Axing Jake Ball would be harsh, but the bowling attack needs to cover all bases. The left-arm variation of George Garton should also be under consideration. From England, I thought Root's captaincy at Brisbane was excellent, but I don't want to see him be Broly-esque at the Adelaide Oval this weekend. I want him to go out and get a massive 100. What England need right now is for the hugely talented captain to lead by example. This past week has shown, on and off the field, that England are out there taking on the whole of Australia. They need to play with more aggression. And if that means going outside the current squad for selection, so be it. Modern touring has changed, to be honest, and the days of picking 16 and sticking with them all winter have gone. So whenever they feel the need to make a change, whether it be now or at the WACA for the third test, the replacement player doesn't have to be from the 16. It can be from the 30-odd blokes they have currently got in Australia. Personally, I feel they need to make that change now. It will be harsh on Jake Ball, but the attack needs all bases covered, and if it does move around under the floodlights in Adelaide, then the other three will cover that. Unless the pitch is a raging Turner, the urge to play Mason Crane right should be resisted. Consideration should be given to Mark Wood, or even the left-arm variation of George Garton. And the status of Ben Stokes will be of great interest after he jetted out to New Zealand on Monday night. This is not a knee-jerk reaction, because I mentioned at the time of selection that they needed the extra pace someone like Wood brings. He might not be fit enough, but they must find out whether he is now an option. As we saw in the summer, he needs to be fit to have an impact. It's no good him being at 7,080%, but the communication lines to England Lions coach Andy Flower need to be open, because the senior management have seen that in Australian conditions, when the new Kookaburra ball is moving around, they're fine. But later when it's not, they need someone who can rough batsmen up. What England can't say is it's Adelaide, under floodlights, and that brings our attack into it more. Because if it's bringing England into it more, it's certainly bringing the three Australian quicks Mitchell Starc, Josh Hazlewood and Pat Cummins into it more too. England's bowlers need to reassess the plans to Australia. Captain Smith after his centurion too. There is no guarantee you are going to be bowling under lights when the new ball moves around. There has been talk of giving Mason Crane a debut, but unless they think it's going to be an absolute raging Turner, I'm not so sure, and you don't tend to need two spinners under lights. Most of the personnel did okay in Brisbane, but they have to heed some lessons as a team to give themselves a better chance in the second test. They must readdress the plans against Smith. I don't think they're going to bore him out. They must readdress the plans against Nathan Lyon. They're going to have to be a bit more attacking against him and make Smith go back to his three big lads. And they must readdress the plans against short-pitch bowling. It's been a part of cricket forever and they will have to work out what they're going to do. But above all, they must stick together as a team and show the mental resolve. England's batsmen also need to shift the focus against Australian spinner Nathan Lyon.